Hi, Gautami. How are you?
Hello, sir. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you. So, Gautami, can you tell me how do you handle test case reviews in your team?
Like once the test cases are prepared by the team members, it will
Mm,
be coming to test lead, which is me, and I'll be going through first the main functionality, smoke testing, and then what are all the other functionalities which are remaining. I'll be checking, and if anything missing and number of defects covered in a particular sprint or more or less, I'll be checking. If there is any critical defect which is not yet cleared due to the deadline,
mm,
I'll be trying to I'll try to figure out whether it can be done within this sprint itself
mm.
without moving it to backlog. After the checking the functionality of the features which are assigned to particular sprint, then I will mm, like the release will be good to go.
Okay, okay. See, what happens is when you have to review someone's test cases, okay, there can be different stages. One stage is you can either review their test cases that they are meeting the business requirements or not. Okay, that is one of the aspect you can do. You can also create a checklist for the test case review. In that checklist, you can include whether it is containing positive test cases as well as negative test cases, whether it is containing functional test cases or non-functional test cases. So those kind of checklist also you can share with them. Once the checklist is shared with them, automatically it's one level of responsibilities with the team members itself. They will be getting it reviewed by themselves. Okay. Second thing is you will be reviewing. So that would be lead level of review. So these are a few of the points you can tell. See, peer reviews, testers review each other's test cases. Reviews. So you as a lead will ensure alignment with the business requirements. Then checklist based review. So you will ensure consistency is there, completeness is there, right? So for an example, for one of the application during test case reviews, you found a missing test case was identified that was related to the employee role based access, right? So this kind of things you can tell, right? Okay.
Sir,
Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah.
like a checklist, what you meant was
Mm.
for particular test cases, they have to be two
Mm.
positive test case and two negative test case. That is,
So,
and
so
functional testing and non-functional testing, like stress or load testing, have to be done for this test case, like this.
yes, yes, it
Functional.
depends. It depends. Now, review, right? When you are reviewing the test cases, it contains a lot of things, right? That means you will be reviewing at the functional level, you will be reviewing at the non-functional level, you will be reviewing at the UI testing level, you will be reviewing at the security testing level. So, what kind of user story is there? So, those all kinds of review you would have. And then you will also do the review from the checklist. So you can share this checklist itself from them with them. So this checklist, it would contain all the kinds of basic review points so that no one is doing any basic mistakes in those kind of test cases, right? Another thing is one kind of thing you can also check during the review is whether the test data is included in the test case or not. Many a times people, the testers, they don't include test data in their test cases itself, right?
Okay.
So such kind of things you have to tell from the reviewing perspective. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, how will you mentor junior testers in your team?
Mentoring, like whenever a team is created, it will
Mm,
be having a few of the old people, like depending upon the experienced, there'll
mm,
be like 5 years experience, 3 years, and 1 year experience,
mm,
and there'll be new joinees to the team as well. Whenever a
mm,
new joinee comes to the team, I'll try to first give him KT for at least 3 to 4 days,
mm,
and check whether he is able to work properly or not in the next week. And I will arrange daily status call. I will mentor one of the team member for him. If he
mm,
has any doubts, he can come and ask him. If in case the other team members are busy with their like a test case creation, execution, such things,
mm.
they can even reach me. And I'll be telling like team to improve their skills using some of the courses which are available free online, and so that their skills get upgraded, and the functionality what they are going to test using manual testing will be refined, like quality will be maintained, so that verification and validation happens properly.
Okay, okay. See, when you have to review someone, sorry, when you have to coach some of the team members, or when you have to mentor them, right? So what you can do is within the team, you can have the knowledge sharing sessions for all the team members. For example, if there is someone who is having knowledge of X module, if there is another team member who is having knowledge of Y module, so you can make sure that they have the knowledge of each other's modules. So in this way, the dependency will be reduced, right? The dependency
Yeah.
will be reduced. So what you can do is you can have knowledge sharing sessions. You can schedule it once in a week or twice in a week. Then you can encourage them to do exploratory testing, right? That would improve their critical thinking. You can also ask them to pair with the senior testers, right? That can also be a possibility, right? You can create a checklist and you can create a common guidelines for the common testing scenarios, right? And every time whenever you are answering, you can come up with some kind of a storyline. For example, in your insurance testing project, your junior testers were struggling with the testing techniques to be used, like boundary value analysis or equivalence partitioning, and then you assisted them with some real time things. Test cases were assigned to them in which these testing techniques were used. Initially you helped them with the test data, and then you asked them to come up with their own. So this helped them to come up with the testing things, and this also assisted them in upgrading themselves on this test case writing skills, right? So that's how you can tell this answer, right? So you have to mentor them, you have to coach them, so it's end to end thing. You have to take them. It should be done in a such a way that tomorrow if you assign them any task, they should be able to do it. You should get at least 90-95% of output from them, right? Even though they are junior people, you should be able to trust them, should be able to do those kind of mentorship. Okay, how will you manage test execution with tight deadlines?
Whenever the deadline is too near, at that time, first of all, we'll be checking the core functionality of the application is working fine or not, and then we will go to the other functionality. For example, if it has like 40 to 50 test cases, in that 10 test cases are critical, and in that core functionality, the level of defects will be high. So we'll be checking that functionality first, and going for other functionality. Example, when we come across e-commerce website like Amazon, for logging in and search function and adding to cart, these are the main functionalities. And after that, this will be given the priority high compared to the payment method to be done using UPI. This one will be given the low priority. Like that, will be able to achieve.
Okay. How will you handle the, how will you take care of the defect leakage? Let's say there is a lot of defect leakage that is happening in your project. So what would you do to handle or to reduce that defect leakage?
Yeah, I'll be testing in like pre-prod and test environment before the project is given to
Hmm.
prod. It will be tested for at least 2 to 3 times whether we are able to find
Hmm.
any defects in the test environment, and we'll be able to keep the test environment almost similar to the prod. Because the functionality which is missed in the test environment, it will definitely affect as a it will come as a defect in the prod. So
Hmm.
we'll do this, and we will be checking whether one defect is going to if we fix one defect, it is going to reduce other defects in future,
Hmm.
so that
Okay.
the critical defect will be reduced.
Fine. Fine. See, what is defect leakage? So first of all, you can explain that thing. Now, when I say defect leakage, so defect leakage is nothing but defects that got caught
Caught in
in
prod.
production despite your testing was done in the QA or in your staging environment. Okay. So let's say you can take an example that earlier when you joined the project, the defect leakage ratio was 10%. Okay. Then what did you do is one of the point that you told is getting an environment which is a mirror image of the production. That is a good thing. Apart from that, what you can do is you can have more test case reviews, right? Because why those defects are not caught internally. So test case review is an important thing. Then apart from that, you can see the impacted areas of the user story. So let's say if there is a user story A which has been developed, but it might be touching X functionality which has already been developed and it has been used. But if you do not consider this during the testing, then this this ratio would be getting increased. So it's very important that you should be able to identify the impacted areas. If you yourself are not able to identify those impacted areas, then at least connect with the development team, understand what are the impacted areas, what are the critical areas, what are the areas that can be affected by these particular enhancements or development, right? Apart from that, you can also consider about the regression that you have to perform because of the changes that are done in the application, right? So these all things will assist you in getting a defect leakage, in getting a reduction in the defect leakage.
Sir, can I add one point for this? Like,
Yes, yes.
whenever the deadline is near, like
Mhm.
one defect is fixed. After that, one team member will be going for retesting, and other team member will be doing a regression testing. Once he is done with retesting, he will join other team member for regression, so that the time duration can be reduced.
Yeah, you can tell that. See, this is not only about time duration, but this is also about the getting the quality things. Let's say you have got a time of 7 days for completing your release testing, and in those 7 days, you are able to complete the testing, but still defect leakage is not getting reduced. So it will not make the client happy. And on the same lines, if you are having 7 days of the release timeline, but it is sorry, but it is getting completed in 7 day in 5 days itself, so 2 days before you completed it. But then if still the defect leakage ratio is there, then still they'll be able to find the issues, right? So still they are getting the issues. That means defect leakage is not getting reduced. So you have to make sure that whatever the things that you do during the release testing has been taken care. Also during the user story testing, you are taking care of all these things, right? So both the things are very important, right? So that's what you have to do. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Do you have any experience in creating test plans, test strategy?
Yeah, I have worked with one of my team lead. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know like what and all will be done in the test plan creation.
Mm-hmm.
A test plan is like a blueprint of a project completion or creation.
Correct.
In here we come across what is the main functionality to be tested, what is in
Mhm.
scope and what is out of scope, and
Correct.
in what environment we'll be testing, and how much effort is needed, like what are the resources required and in what time duration we'll be able to complete this, and what is the test data available for testing it, in
Mm-hmm.
which environment we are going to test, and we'll try to keep the defect leakage ratio less, and number of defects to be identified and covered or cleared within it, where the functionality is moving to prod, it will be encountered, and requirement is traceability metrics will be maintained, like for each requirement what is the scenario and the test case and what is the result of that, and comments mentioned. This requirement traceability matrix, it will be acting as a guideline for a new tester who joins the team. In case of there is a high amount of work, if in that case if we need to onboard any new test team, this will be acting as a guideline for them, and he'll be able to cope up with the work.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the budget estimation for this?
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about test strategy?
Yeah, in test strategy it is like a part of the test plan. Like because in these days we'll come across agile methodology where requirements keeps on changing time to time.
Mm,
So we have to be updating our test plan accordingly to the
mm,
requirements of the clients. And whereas test strategy is the it acts as a framework, or it is like a flow, what in which flow we have to carry our project. It is almost stagnant compared to test plan. Test plan can be changed, but the test strategy should be same.
test plan can be changed, but test strategy should be same. Are you sure?
Yeah, like I mean, it should not be modified as much as test plan, I mean.
Okay, fine. Mm,
And we'll be figuring out what are all the manual test cases, and in which functionality we can introduce the automated testing in order to reduce the time duration, and what are all the tools required for it, whether it is Selenium with the Java and the TestNG environment,
mm,
like that TestNG framework.
mm. Okay, okay. Um, what do you know about RTM? Have you prepared any RTM?
Yeah.
Mm,
RTM is the requirement traceability matrix.
mm,
Here we come across one requirement, and for the particular requirement, one scenario will be assigned, and for the scenario, test case ID, test case, and for each test case, which in detail will be looking in the test steps performed for that, and in the test case, after this, we'll be getting whether after execution whether this test case is pass or fail, and
mm.
what are all the comments mentioned for it, and what is the test data used for this execution.
Okay. So, can you share any format for the RTM? You can share it in an Excel file, or what are the different fields that you will have in an RTM? Any template you have?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm giving
No,
you
I can
screen
share my
sharing, right?
screen and write it down.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that. I'm giving you the screen sharing rights.
So this is the scenario what I'm. This is the RTM.
Okay. So what all things you have included here? You have requirements, you have scenario here. Okay, see, what I would suggest is if you are creating an RTM, no, you can keep up to this level. See, let me share my screen. See, this test steps, test data, what you can do is you can include them in your test cases. It should be this much. You have requirement ID, that is RQ01, 001, 002, 003. Requirement description you have test case ID, you have test case description, and you have status. That's it. You can just keep it up to this level. What you can do is you can also add a link on this test case 01. If you click on it, then it would take you to the detail level of test cases,
Okay.
right? Those
Yeah.
kind of things you can have. Okay. And there you can get the details of the test cases, your test data, and your automated is done or not, the test case is automated or not, or is it feasible for automation or not. So you can do those kind of structuring there. Is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, okay, let's say you are working in a project and there is a release that is going to happen. That is tomorrow, 24th of February, for example. And you find your one of your team member has found an critical issue one day prior to the release itself. Then what would you do?
Like as you said, mentioned it is a critical issue,
Hmm.
and I would like to communicate with the product owner first
Hmm.
of all, because it is a critical issue. We can't move ahead without fixing that. So,
Hmm.
and I would speak to the stakeholders or product owner and ask if the sprint can be extended. Duration of the sprint, if it's 2 weeks, it can be extended for 3 more days or 1 week.
Hmm.
And I'll speak with the developer whether it is possible to fix it in a 2 to 3 days, and if they are okay to work in the weekends,
Hmm.
and I will be arranging a compo for them, and I'll be arranging compo, and also like whether the testing team is available in
Hmm.
order to retest the defect fixed by the developer.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Any?
it is
Hmm.
not possible to take one more team member and ask them to work about it. And if the same work can be split among two developers or two testers, so that they can communicate with each other and try to complete it soon if possible. If at all it is not possible, I'll ask the product owner to extend the sprint. And if not, I'll be if they're okay with moving to the next sprint, I'll be adding this functionality as one of the regression test case in
Hmm.
the next sprint, and so that it would be covered and the functionality won't be missed.
Okay. So how do you start your day? Let's say you are coming to the office as a test lead. What are the different roles and responsibilities that you have?
Yeah, first of all, I start my day by checking the mails and what are all the important tasks. I'll jot it down, like what are all the tasks to be done at the starting, like before
Hmm.
afternoon and after afternoon, and what are all the meetings available, and should I involve in the sprint planning meeting, and should I involve in the grooming sessions, and what is the status calls, and which functionality has to be delivered in this 2 weeks, and if I have to take any new resources to the team, if the team is new, like this I'll be starting. And
Okay.
if I have to take any data from the product owner, I'll be
Hmm.
mailing them accordingly and connecting with the calls whenever the time is feasible.
Okay. Okay. Let's say if you want to get the details of how many defects were created yesterday by your team, how many defects are fixed by the development team, and how many are deployed, how many of those defects the fix has been deployed in the build. So how would you get that data?
Yeah, as we use the Jira as a
Hmm.
project management tool, in
Hmm.
Jira we'll be looking into each sprint. In that sprint, what is the defect numbers available there, and they're looking into the issue type, or whether it is fixed or it is open or it is assigned. I'll be figuring out it in one Excel and coming up into the data.
Hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. Fine. Hmm. Okay. Fine, Gautami. I am done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
No.